number one fan. I'm your number one fan. Gotta understand, I got a plan. Go for what you want, might be what you thought. You gotta take a chance. Gotta understand, I'm your number one fan. Number one fan.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another special edition here on KSN Podcast. I'm Kurt the Magnificent, your host, and we got episode number 18 here going on here in the Kurt Social Network. Tonight's guest we got coming on here, a coach, a leader, a guy that's going to teach. He's going to give you that knowledge. You see the pictures there. Great pictures there. He's going to give us his basketball journey, and he's also a diehard Knick fan too. And I just can't wait to get this interview kicked off and going. I've known this person for a very long time, and for this story, for him to share, I just can't wait because, a lot of people probably don't know, this part of the story, what we're going to talk about today. And this will be good to share out in the world with other people, that would like to know him. And it's a great honor and a privilege and I love the show to Coach Tyrone Carver Jr. Can we give a hand to Coach Carver?
Oh, man. Good evening, man. Good evening, Kirk. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah, not a problem, Coach. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate you, always. Thank you. I'm just glad to have you. We could talk about, like I said, the journey of you coming up. And definitely talk about the Knicks because we always talk about that. We got to win tomorrow night. We got to win Game 6.
Yeah, we good. Definitely.
So, Coach, real quick, just give us that little growing up, with basketball, even growing up with the Knicks. Talk about that, your journey.
Oh, man. So born and raised in Sleepy Hollow, New York, formerly known as North Tarrytown.
Yes.
Went to Sleepy Hollow High School. Tarrytown Public Schools, played football, basketball, captain for both sports, played 3 years for both, varsity captain as a sophomore for both, ran track and field, believe it or not. It might be a mystery. Mystery question there for me, for anybody out there. Ran track and field in my senior year. Because of my cousin, the legendary Trevor Demme.
Shout out to Trev.
Yeah, shout out Coach Trev. Yeah. Because of him, I ran track in my senior year. But football, basketball, couldn't choose between either or while I was coming up. Played varsity. I was football. I was a quarterback. Basketball. Off guard. Really enjoyed both. Couldn't choose, which one, I really wanted to go with. Whichever one I was playing at the time was my favorite. So, played at Sleepy, graduated Sleepy, then went on to Delaware State University, spent a couple of years down there, and just found my niche for coaching, man. A lot of people, thought that, I was coaching at a very young age, always bossing, my friends around in terms of, pickup games and stuff like that in the park. So you got many people that believe that at the age of 14, 15, that I already had that knack. But started coaching at the age of 19, at Sleepy, as well as at Byram Hills. Byram Hills, I did 7th grade basketball there at Byram Hills. So, just started coaching at the age of 19. Coaching football, coaching basketball, actually coaching track. Fortunate enough, at the age of 23 to end up at Mamaroneck as a JV coach there. And then
before we get further to that, it's great to just hear that early part because I didn't know about that, which is good about Byram Hills. You was there for a little bit, you know?
Yeah, funny story. And this is one of those that I tell my players, that you never know who's watching. You know, we always talk about characters, who you are when no one else is watching, but you never know who's watching you. So, interesting story. When I first got into coaching, you know, I coached my brother Nook, you know, Anthony Carver,
Yes.
him and a couple other guys, modified football at Sleepy, and Sleepy Hollow didn't have a position for basketball available in that winter. So I had applied for a couple of coaching positions through OLAS, and was able to get an interview at Byram Hills. Now, longtime athletic director Rod Murgard, who I consider to be my godfather now, he interviewed me. And the interesting thing is, our last football game, modified football game, we played at Byram Hills. And now we're looking at Byram Hills, and they have these little signs of undefeated seasons on their field for modified, you know, and all that stuff, all other levels. And I say to the guys, like, listen, they're going to put another banner up there if you don't win this game. We were 5-1. They were 6-0 or something like that. And it was the last game of the season. And there's a guy on the end of the sideline, and we're playing at Byram Hills, that has a trench coat on. Don't know him at all, but he's on our sideline. Don't say anything to him. Just coach the game, go about my business. When I went to Byram Hills to interview for that 7th grade position, the guy that was interviewing me was the guy that was on that sideline in that trench coat. And it was Rod Murgard, the athletic director. And I was able to get the job, not by anything that I said in the interview, but he saw me on the sidelines and was watching me, how I was conducting myself, how I was coaching with the fellas, the interaction with the fellas. And that helped me to get that job that winter. You know, so I always tell the fellas, you never know who's watching you, you know, and that's a prime example right there. You know, who knows if I would ever got that position in terms of coaching, you know, there. But Rod Murgard was able to see me up close and personal. So that was great.
Coach, that was your interview right there, that game. He was watching. He probably, like you say, didn't know you from a can of paint, but watching how you was, you know, working your boys, you know, trying to get a win. Did y'all win the game?
No doubt.
Okay. Oh, y'all won the game. So look at that.
We won the game. We did.
So y'all made sure they didn't get the banner.
That's
so
right.
That's definitely why he wanted you to go to their team, to their program. So no, that's great. No, that's for real. That's a good story, because there's a lot of, I think, coaches that how they get in, it's sometimes not normal. Sometimes just not like off the strength of knowing people.
Yeah.
And for that person right there, the athletic director, after just watching you, that was your interview before you even went to the interview, just to give you the job. And that's what really got you really pushed start. I mean, you started at Sleepy Hollow, but that really probably pushed you and started.
Oh, it pushed me. And I was fortunate enough that, you know, I didn't get, you know, apply for a couple of varsity jobs, but again, very young. And I was able to end up at Mamaroneck, and you know, I was a JV coach for 2 years, head coach at the time, Vin Minotti, predecessor of mine. He ended up resigning after his 2nd year, and my athletic director, who's actually retiring this year, Barry Suman, she took a chance on me 21 years ago, and to give me an opportunity to fulfill a lifelong dream and running my own program, and 21 years later, we're still here.
You know, you started in the beginning with Mamaroneck, and you actually worked there too as well, right, Coach?
Yes, I'm a teaching assistant in the athletic department. You know, I do the phys ed. I help all the special needs kids that push into our general ed classes and our self-contained classes and that sort. Yep.
Nice. So you get in there, right? And like you said, the coach before you, you know, he resigns, and now you get your chance. And when you get your chance, you know, a AA school at the time, Mamaroneck, you know, you got to play White Plains. You know, you got to play Mount Vernon, New Rochelle. You got to play those schools. You know, what is your mindset right away, expectation, knowing what the team that you have? And talk about those early teams in the beginning.
So interesting thing is my 2 years as a JV coach, and helping out with the varsity, was on the varsity bench as well. That was not our league. Our league was White Plains, Scarsdale, Ossining, Yorktown.
Oh, okay.
That was our league. So we didn't even play New Rochelle or Mount Vernon. So, White Plains obviously was in the league as well. So now when I get the keys, basically I find out that our league now consists of Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, Scarsdale, White Plains, and that's our league. And we play each other twice. The year before I took over, they were 2-18 and didn't play Mount Vernon or New Rochelle. Didn't play Mount Vernon or New Rochelle. So I'm taking over a 2-18 season, 2-18 team with an inheriting 7 seniors. So when I met with my athletic director, talked about the job, my philosophy was we want to use basketball as a tool to help these young men to be successful in life. And we want to give the best effort we possibly can and let the chips fall where they may. That was the philosophy. That was the thought process. We're going to give everything we have. We're not going to bow down to anybody. We're going to roll our sleeves up, and we're just going to give a full effort and just get after it and let the chips fall where they may. So we had some teams that, battled, wasn't necessarily as talented, but gave effort and competed, made everybody work for whatever they were going to get, and we fell short. We had some successes, no question about it. Some winning seasons and all that stuff, but forever grateful for those guys who put in the work. I still watch some of the videos from back then, and I'm just still amazed that we were able to do some of the things that we were able to do with those guys.
Definitely. You talk about that, the beginnings, and you grow through those beginnings, and I know you definitely did, especially probably those first 5 to 10 years. And then I even remember started seeing that you started getting a real good group coming in those mid 2010 years, and that's what I feel like that's what started the culture, really the culture there, and what is going on till today.
No question. You got to have people that believe in you. You got to have, sound coaching staff that believe in you, and it's all together for one common goal. And then obviously you got to have the players that are committed, not only during the season, but in the off season as well, to put the work in and believe that eventually that, you'll be able to kick the door down. And, we had some really good teams that conducted themselves well, that on and off the court, and that put up forth max efforts, and we came close a whole lot of times. And fortunate enough this year, we were able to kick the door down.
And definitely this year, right away, y'all started out looking very good and promising. The last few years you've been, but this year you saw a different type of team. I know you saw it, but other people saw this team could definitely finally get that sectional title that they've been waiting for, for so very long, the very first. And talk about that, the overall throughout the season going into the playoffs.
Well, this season was, I want to say the last 4 years we had, the goal of being able to realistically win the sectional title. The last 4 years, we came short 4 years ago. I thought we had a really good senior-laden crew with Aiden Roy and Ethan Glassman. And that's when I threw Will Plunkett and Brandon Burrell in the fire as freshmen. They were starters due to some injuries and stuff. And, we really thought that we had a special group that could do something really special that year. That group we were working with through COVID and stuff like that. And we just thought that we had, the makings of a really, really good team with some real good senior leadership. And we had 2 devastating injuries, to some seniors to start the year off. Still in all, we had, we ended up losing in the quarterfinals at home to our rival Scarsdale, and that was devastating to our senior group, and it was devastating for me as well. That was a tough loss. And but we got back to work. You know, we had some guys that was on that team that experienced that, and they wanted more. You know, they wanted more. And then the following year, we were able to win the league championship for the first time. First time ever in my Mariner school history in terms of the dynamic of that league. We were able to win the league championship. We were able to get a high seed and end up losing in overtime to New Rochelle in the sectional semifinal, which was the second time that we have ever been there since 1971. We had been there in 2017-18, and then that was the first time that we were able to get back there since then. And so we lost in overtime to New Rochelle, which was tough. And then we followed it up and came back again the following year, lost the last game of the regular season, lost on the last possession from getting the league championship back to back. So we weren't able to do that, but still had a high seed, was able to get back to the county center, and then ended up losing to a good North Rockland team. And the focus all year long, all off season was, you know, not just getting back to this county center, but being able to win the whole thing. That was the focus. And we put the work in the off season, you know, the summer, put it in the fall. And, you know, we had that goal all year long. And we knew that we needed to do whatever we can do to get better each and every day. And, man, it was special from out the gates, you know. And but again, when you have leaders like Burrell and Plunkett and I had 10 seniors, you know, you have senior group like that's just great people and driven to be successful. The sky's the limit. And man, it was an amazing season.
Yeah. So shout out to the 2025-2026 Mamaroneck High School boys basketball team. They did ended up winning the sectional title. Sectional title, if people don't know, consists of Westchester, Rockland County, and Putnam County as well. Probably also parts of Dutchess County,
Yep.
as well, in the New York area in high school basketball and high school sports. And those guys you talked about, one particular, definitely Brendan Burrell. Shout out to him because he is a kid that I've actually seen him when he was younger, and I said, "B, he's going to be something." I knew it, but you saw it, and now it's there, and you know it's amazing what he has done. And even to the guys you had before, A all day, I call him Aiden Boy, definitely. Even Miles Horton, man. Shout out to Miles Horton if he's around somewhere.
Yeah.
But you know, just shout out to those guys that stayed committed with you. You know, they was right there with the process, and you finally got that gold ball, first time in history of Mamaroneck, and then you were able to get on your way to the state playoffs, even getting to the Final Four.
Yeah, it was special. You know, 4 years, this group, particularly led by Brandon and Will, they were with me for all 4 years. Some of these guys were with me for 3 of those years. And then there's obviously some of those guys for 2 years. And I got 5 underclassmen that will be back, you know, for next year. But 4 years, these young men was 73-18 overall. Wow. And now we've traveled to San Diego, we've traveled to Pennsylvania, we've traveled to South Carolina. You know, 73-18 overall, 64-13 in Section 1. 2 league championships, which hadn't been done, you know, ever. A sectional championship, a regional championship, and our first ever trip to the state Final Four. Just special, remarkable winners. Some of these guys did it in other sports. In terms of football, did it for the first time ever this year. You know, some of these guys are lacrosse players as well, who's won some state sectional championships. So just a special group, man. Brandon Burrell, I mean, can't say enough about him. He's going to Harvard, point blank, period.
Wow.
You know, you got to be able to have the grades. And not only that, you got to be able to play the game the right way to be able to go to Harvard. And, you know, he's a special talent. This young man has put in the work year in and year out. Tireless work to be who he is. Mr. Basketball this year. First ever in Mamaroneck history.
Wow.
Mr. Basketball. You know, so can't say enough about his character. Can't say enough about his work ethic. Can't say enough about his production. shout out to him today. Is his birthday today.
Wow, look at that. Happy birthday, B. Man.
He stopped by our open gym workouts tonight. But yeah, special young man, and the sky's the limit for him. Looking forward to great things for him as he moves on to Harvard.
Yeah, definitely. Academic, athletic. That is just beautiful to hear. And with him also being the all-time leading scorer, right? Correct?
Yes,
Coach
sir.
Ty of Mamaroneck basketball history,
He
right?
was able to clip Jay Holmes.
Jay Holmes, man.
And he's the all-time leading scorer and the all-time assist leader in the history of Mamaroneck.
Beautiful. Wow. Congratulations to Brandon Burrell. And again, congratulations to y'all, even just getting that far, Coach Ty. That team, those guys right there, they might not understand it or know it still, even though they did it, but that will travel with them for the rest of their lives. They will always have a stamp in that school.
No doubt. No doubt. Waiting for a new banner to come that'll be posted in the school, hopefully this spring, if not worst case scenario this summer. Where they will be remembered forever as gold winners at Mamaroneck High School.
Got you. Now let's get to the Knicks, Coach. Let's talk about these Knicks right now. Talk about the beginning. When did you start watching Knicks? When were you growing up watching Knicks? Who was your
born and raised a New York Knicks fan? But I grew up in the era of Pat Riley was the head coach.
The 90s.
Obviously Patrick Ewing.
Yes.
When they made the trade for Derek Harper, that was my guy. I wore number 11 in terms of basketball. I wore number 12 in football, but wore 11 in basketball to kind of mimic Derek Harper. Diehard Knick fan. It's funny, living with mom, I couldn't watch the game in the living room with her. I had to watch it in my own room. I wouldn't even allow calls to go on while I was watching the Knicks.
Wow.
So diehard fan, man, big time Jeff Van Gundy fan, big time Tom Thibodeau fan. But through and through, man, my personal calendar, my school calendar, my desk calendar, the Knicks schedule is on for the month.
Definitely. Talk about this season, Knicks, right now, and then now in the playoffs playing Atlanta.
The season, everybody was just waiting for the playoffs, because of all the success we've had over the last 4 or 5 years under Thibodeau, and being able to get to the conference final. It was all about just staying healthy throughout the year, and let's see what they're really made of now when we get to the playoffs. So enjoyable to watch throughout the course of the season. Definitely some ups and downs. And again, being a Thibodeau guy, when you see some of the downs, you just be like, they should have never made that change. Should have never made that change. Should have never made that change. But as a diehard fan, you got to embrace whatever the organization has done and try to go with your team, right? So been enjoyable to watch the last 2 games of the series. To see us, I feel like we're playing our best basketball of the season now. I think it was kind of a wake-up call to be down 2-1. And looking forward what this group can do as we move forward.
I didn't want to play the Hawks, because I saw what they were doing later in the season. They young, they like to run, they energetic. It was them, the Hornets, and the other team was
Raptors.
The Raptors, definitely. Raptors I would have played, but the Hornets and Hawks, if it would have got to that, I wouldn't want to play them because young and like to run. Knicks don't want to run. I mean, we're running now, but they really don't want to run.
I didn't think it, I wasn't so sold on the whole who you're going to play thing, to be honest with you. To me, they needed someone that was going to catch their attention and not think that this was going to be a cakewalk. So, and as you can see with the Atlanta situation, I think that we are better than Atlanta, full-fledged, better than Atlanta. And I think that being down 2-1 was the wake-up call for them. And you can tell by how they've gone about their business since they were down 2-1. You know what I mean? And so I think the Toronto thing, it would have been probably a wake-up call in the second round. And I think that now we understand that we got to play, night in and night out. It can't take nobody for granted. You can't play with your food. You got to finish your breakfast.
That's a good one, Coach. I like that. I'm gonna use that. We use that. Yeah, because I'm glad. At the end of the day, I'm glad that we probably did play Atlanta because they did wake us up,
Mhm.
and we need to be woken up, preparing to if we finish out the series, which we should, and get ready for the next round. If it's Boston or Philly, we need to be ready for that. And I'm glad they did the switch on offense where they have Cat touching the ball up top because he could see everything over the defense. Where
Mhm.
Brunson throughout the season was usually the dynamic guy who had the ball running it. Now with Cat, you're showing other options, even showing the pick and roll. If you have Brunson off the pick and roll, could be a pick and pop, or Cat can roll off the pick, and then when he catches, he can get to the basket or spray it out to the corners. I just
Mhm.
think the offense where Cat has it to the top, or at least get a touch, it just shows so many different options for the Knicks to be able to score in many ways.
Um, do not disagree with that at all. You got to be able to score in very different ways. Obviously, you know, it can't be all Brunson, just from the standpoint that, again, wearing them down from end line to end line, long athletic guys that are, more, that can give him some challenges, no question, but he still is JB and can do what he do. But in terms of the passing, in terms of the being able to share the wealth, definitely using Cat as a hub is definitely an advantage, but also realizing that Cat is an advantage. So from that standpoint, running the offense through him against a team like Atlanta proves to be something that, is the right formula for our success.
Definitely. Do you think the Knicks can get to the finals, Coach?
Yes, the Knicks can get to the finals. The Knicks can get to the finals. And again, you just look at the path, right? One, forget it. You're not even looking at the path. Look at the roster first, right? What they were able to accomplish last year. Who has acquired so much that they're better than the Knicks?
Right.
I don't think anybody made an acquisition that they're better than the Knicks, and which is one of the reasons why, in terms of the roster, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't really want Thibodeau to be gone, because I felt like when you had the advantage of bringing everybody back, keep the stability and keep it moving. But the organization chose to make a move. You can't fear Boston. You've shown that you can beat them. And I don't think that they're better than they were last year.
No,
I think
no.
Boston was better last year than they are this year.
Yes.
So when you look at that, and then you look at the dynamic of, people talk about Detroit. First of all, obviously they're
They,
down 3 games to 1. I don't know
they,
what the score is.
they're
Up
down.
7 right now.
They're up 7.
4.5 minutes left.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Didn't we experience it? Didn't we hear all of last year how OKC, how Boston, how Cleveland did all of these things to the Knicks? And at the end of the day, when the lights really came on for the playoffs, that was different when it came to dealing with Boston. So I don't believe the hoax of, Detroit, because I don't think Detroit is better than they were last year.
Right.
I don't think they have the weapons that they had last year. And so, yes, I believe the Knicks can go to the finals. I think we have to remain healthy. And we got to play, we got to stay focused, because the Knicks have shown that we don't necessarily handle prosperity well. We always got to have our backs against the
Against the
wall.
wall. Yes.
In order to, whether it be being down 2-1, whether it be, down 20 points to come back and win, we have to stay focused and locked in. And this group has had, points of losing their focus here and there. And also, to be honest, if you really look at the record at MSG over the last 2 years, in the playoffs, we haven't really played well as we have on the road. Now, I think that we're a better road team under Thibodeau than we were under Mike Brown, but I definitely think the Knicks can get there. I think they're definitely have the capabilities of being the best team in the East, no question.
Definitely. That was great insight, Coach. And like you said, as both of us diehard Knicks fans, and we've seen a lot of Knicks games and growing up watching the Knicks, Knicks always back against the wall, just always feel like they're going to turn it up another notch.
Right.
Right. And I'm just glad that hopefully with this, they could just get out tomorrow, finish out against Atlanta, and just get ready for the next couple of rounds, hopefully.
Right. But now, and it's an interesting dynamic in terms of tomorrow, right? So they call it MSG, MSG South.
South, that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to believe now tomorrow on a Thursday that there's not going to be many people traveling to go to MSG South.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's probably be a little bit more Hawk fans in the arena tomorrow night. But at the same token, the Knicks have been here. We watched, the closeout game last year on the road in Detroit, closeout game in Philly, closeout game. I think it was against Cleveland. Like these guys, the core, have had closeout games and been able to secure it on the road. So hopefully we get locked in. We know that they're going to throw a punch, and we should sustain it. And I think, again, we've won the last 2 games by about 20 points. We're the better team.
Thank you, Coach. One more Knick question real quick as we get ready to wrap it up in the next few minutes. Your all-time favorite Knick, your all-time favorite one, who is it?
Man, I would have to say, oh man, that's a tough one, man.
All right, how about this? Give me a starting five.
I would have to say Melo.
Okay.
Melo's my guy. I would have to say Melo. He was my all-time favorite Knick. I'd have to say Melo. Obviously, Patrick when he was with the Knicks, during his days, and then right now it's Brunson, no question.
Definitely. One more thing real quick before we let you go. I know you've been doing it for the past, maybe 10, 15 summers. Talk about your camp that's out in White Plains, the basketball camp you got for the youth out there. Give
MVP basketball camp.
Yeah, MVP. Come on, give us a little. I want to give a little promo real quick. Real quick.
MVP basketball camp. I've been fortunate enough to work at for the last 26 years. I am co-camp director. I've been there for a long time. It's a great camp from 9 to 3. We normally run it, at a Highlands Middle School in White Plains. This year we'll be at Ebersol ice rink. There won't be no ice down. We'll be underneath. We'll be in the ice rink. We'll be some shade and stuff like that. But a great basketball camp for boys and girls from ages 6 to 16. A great camp. Get to meet people from not only Westchester, but also, from different parts of New York, and even some people that come in from different parts of the world who happen to be traveling with their families and things of that sort. So you get to meet different people from all different ages, all different types, all different backgrounds. And obviously we teach basketball. We have fun playing basketball, but we teach life lessons and all those things as well. So it's a wonderful experience for youngsters in our area.
Thanks, Coach. And you just said it best, how with coaching, it's not only about just coaching the game. It's about, coaching these kids and teaching them life lessons, getting them ready for the world. That's what it really is about,
No doubt.
And you see the appreciation when it comes back to you, because a lot of times the kids come back with their kids,
Yeah. Kids come back with their kids. Fortunate enough, being a high school coach, you see kids that, attended your camp. And then also you see them, playing against you, or they're in your community and end up playing for you.
Right.
So it's a great thing, to see them grow up, and again, we've had, Donovan Mitchell came to MVP basketball camp, so he's one of the big time alumni, from most recent alumni that came to MVP basketball camp.
Wow. Look at that. So y'all get the MVP basketball camp. All right. I'm going to send out that info as well. Coach Carver, thank you very much.
Man, thank you for having me, man. This is fun. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Well,
what you do.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I want to have you on again, man. If the Knicks go further, man,
let's do it.
Come on, we'll come on again.
No doubt. Always willing to talk shop, man.
Definitely. Thank you again, Coach, for coming on, and for people who watch and listen to this. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Another great special edition of the KSN podcast. I'm Kurt the Magnificent. Have a good night. Peace, love. You already know. Have a good one, y'all.